Army Painter, Speedpaint, Metallics. An interesting concept, but will it in fact speed boost your productivity and get your miniatures painted that little bit quicker? Let's find out. So let's see what's in the box. You have a Speedpaint leaflet and a handy Army Painter painting guide, which goes through a variety of products available, which is great if you're just coming to their brand for the very first time. You get some funky stickers because, you know, everyone likes a sticker. A brush, which is standard with all Army Painter paint sets. And 10 metallic speed paints, which come in a variety of colours. To test these out today, we're going to be using some old school Games Workshop Night Goblins, which were sprayed black and white with some Colourforge primer. I'm fairly new to this brand after only using them for a couple months, but these sprays are pretty darn good. So we're going to be showing off the paints today by painting on a pure white Night Goblin and a pre-shaded one. Just because probably this will be the two main different ways you would use these paints, as we have learnt from previous speed paint videos, which you can find in a playlist on the channel. To the colours themselves, and if you are new to the paints, yes, they are supposed to be this runny. They are slightly different from the normal acrylic paint range. The way that these speed paints work allows a hobbyist to paint a rich coat of colour with one application, which in theory should save you a smidge of time, allowing you to get the miniatures on the table quicker and play some games with your friends. So for the next segment, we're going to go through all of the colours and apply them to the white Night Goblins on your left and the pre-shaded goblins on your right. Afterwards, we'll see a few photos of what they look like once dry, and some questions answered about the paints. Aztec Gold looks like quite a nice colour for some elven armour. Hoplite. Hoplite? I had to Google what this was because I thought it was a light beer. But it's a Greek warrior. Every day's a learning day. Whew, that's a bit red, isn't it? I think Skaven would like that. Don't forget, if you are finding this video informative and my inner monologue commentary, then give the video a like and throw a comment down there as well. Oh, this is quite a nice silver. It's got a little tint of blue with it. Chaos Warriors, maybe? A slightly lighter silver now. This might be quite good for weapons. I've just noticed a hair on the one on the right. A slightly lighter silver, I think? So let's see now the 10 paints in all of their glory. I think it's nice that we have a variation of golds in the set, as more often than not you'll see miniatures on the tabletop with some form of gold on them. The bronze and the copper are pretty nice colours, but I think the consistency is just not quite there, which is a bit of a shame. The broadsword silver and the polished silver painted on wonderfully, and you have a nice finish to them, but they're just a bit similar? However, I love the Aztec Gold and the Enchanted Steel. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this on quite a few projects. The next part of the video is going to be going over a few questions that I've had before getting this set, and a couple frequently asked questions that I've seen floating around on the internet. Does the paint reactivate? Well, I got a makeup brush loaded with water and tried rubbing some gold off of this goblin. And I've got to say, it's doing pretty well. The paint has retained its stickability on the model, and it's not coming off. So naturally I increased the pressure like a cave troll, and eventually some came off the edges. But no one in their right mind is going to paint like this, so that's a pass for reactivation.
Can I paint a bright colour over the speed paints?
We have a polished silver goblin over here, and we're going to paint his shield with a stone golem from the normal acrylic paint range. In the previous iteration of speed paints, painting a yellow or a white was a pain, as it just smushed and blended together and you were left with something that you didn't quite expect. Not anymore, my friend. Not anymore.
Can you use the paint over a black undercoat?
Well, you don't need to use the paint just on white or a pre-shaded model, but you can also paint on black. Which pleasantly surprised me, and I think that's pretty cool. You might need 2 coats, but it will work.
Do you need to mix it with medium or can it go straight on?
The paint works pretty well without, but let's try it anyway. This slightly diluted paint does go on pretty well, and it sits in the recesses a little bit more. It does, however, start to create those lighter highlights that we expect from speed paints. But if we do a comparison with the gold that we did earlier in the video, it's kind of washed out slightly and it's not glistening like our other gold. So personally, I won't be using it that way.
Can you use one speed paint over another?
For this test, the slightly runnier brazen copper is going to be used as a base coat. We know that the paint won't reactivate, so let's see what it will look like when one's on top of the other. Polished silver was the paint to go on top. And because these paints are ever so slightly translucent, you will see the colour that's underneath. The end result is okay, but I think if there was more of a darker, rough iron colour from the acrylic paint range, Army Painter, please make that the next one, then I can definitely see a few uses for this, like a battered metal or something a bit weathered. And my question is, how are these speed paints through an airbrush? Oh, I do love an airbrush now and again, and using the first generation of speed paints this way was amazing. So let's see how the metallics go. I wanted to test this 2 ways, first on a black miniature to see how well it would perform on a dark undercoat. And it came out alright. The colour is there and so is the shading. Now what I really wanted to see is what the paints would look like over a gunmetal undercoat. I just want to further add that no acrylic thinner was used with these, it was just the paint from the pot. And it's just buttery smooth. The paint goes on perfectly, and the brazen copper that I wasn't too keen on before is probably now my favourite. Let's compare these to the 2 brush painted ones earlier. Oh, that's a bit of a difference there, Bob. The black one's not too bad. So spraying it as a metallic is definitely on the cards for me, and I look forward to experimenting more with these. Now I've seen all the colours in action for the first time, it's time to paint a model. This little chap is from Warboss Miniatures and is one of their commanding looking characters from the Reliquary Kickstarter. I met them at the UK Games Expo this year, and they've created a fantasy game with some pretty cool looking miniatures. So if you want to have something different and paint some larger scale miniatures, then I'll leave a link in the description to the video, just in case you want to check them out. And back to the metallics. These speed paints work slightly different to the first generation ones. Before, the paint used to nestle into the recesses to give some shaded areas, like you can see with this yellow compared to our gold colour. And that's what I was expecting. However, after seeing the bronze and copper colours look like because it did do this, I was not that impressed. And for those that know me and have seen my previous videos, you know I love my speed paints. However, if you see these as an extension to the current metallic paint range, then these take the biscuit because they are really nice colours. Will they speed paint, see what I did there, your army and get it done quicker? Yes it will, because it will give you a nice tabletop standard army in a short space of time. And if that's what you're after, then it's a pretty good product to have on your paint desk. And if you would like to take your painting to the next step, then that's what this channel is all about. Just nudging your skills 1 video at a time, and we can all get those minis painted. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep on hobbying.